we return to Princes Risborough for Risex 2025. It's our first model railway exhibition of the year, so let's get in and have a look at some layouts. We start at Quarry Lane End as a double fairly passes by the cricket pitch and the sawmill. Quarry Lane End is by Mike Sumpter. And Mike says to imagine a small worked out quarry set in the countryside near a village, as yet unnamed. As a rule, such quarries are generally left to nature to reclaim of the land and maybe some human intervention. Here, opportunity has been grabbed by both hands to provide much needed community space. Craft and timber workshops have been established, farmland reclaimed, and enough level area to be grassed over and provide the essential village cricket pitch. But the best bit is the resurrection of the old quarry railway workings to provide not only a link to other villages, but a money-spinning visitor attraction. The double fairly manoeuvres around the engine shed as it passes the station next. The passengers don't seem to mind that the trains failed to stop. They just happily sit on the benches and watch the cricket game continue. Double fairly passes the sawmill and the pig farm before disappearing into a tunnel. And so now we come to Marybridge Goods by Peter Dixon. Marybridge Goods depicts an area of London close to Liverpool Street and Farringdon. It shows the type of goods traffic typical of the time. It also features electric loco stabling for city trains, as well as a small steam yard for locos shunting the various yards around the area. There is a rail connection for coal and ash collection. This was similar to the access near Baker Street. The layout is 24 volts DC third rail and is analog control. Many of the models date back to the 1930s and 40s, built by 3 generations of Peter's family. The Metropolitan had a wide variety of steam locos. Most are visible on the layout. The electric loco stabled on the rear road here is actually made of cardboard.
It's the younger model out of the two, because that one I think is...
Astonbury Junction is busy with shunting as a 1F moves wagons around the station area. Astonbury Junction is presented by the Aylesbury and District Model Railway Club. It is a totally fictionist village in Worcestershire, which is the junction of 2 LMS, one being ex-Midland Railway, cross-country routes to Gloucester and Birmingham. The layout is based loosely on Broome Junction on the Stratford-upon-Avon and Midland Junction Railway. The layout morphed as the build progressed to incorporate the locality of the A&T MRC railway room, hence the naming of Astonbury Junction. The layout also incorporates the local village names of Oving, Dunton and Crafton. Layout operation depicts the period of 1955 to 1965, enabling the use of a wide range of locos and rolling stock, in particular early diesels from the green livery with whiskers period. The Johnson 1F moves its wagons into one of the top sidings near the station platform before returning towards the stabling road where it takes on more water. With the shunter stabled away, the Class 1 two-way parcels unit arrives in one of the platforms. Whilst in the opposite direction is the arrival of a standard 4MT tank locomotive. This locomotive, 80032, will be destined for the Somerset and Dorset later in life, but for now it's on the local passenger working. Passengers climb aboard, and driver and fireman await the guard signal before departing the station. With a blow of the whistle, the service slowly moves off as the engine barks from its chimney out towards the junction. Once a single line is clear of the 4MT, a Ginty arrives with a freight working. It pulls into the station before reversing to drop off a couple of tank wagons. With the tanks dropped off, the loco manoeuvres to pick up an open wagon and a conflat to take on its way. The Oxfordshire narrow gauge modelers were out in full force with long Sibford and other modules. This 009 layout has been presented by the Oxfordshire narrow gauge modelers, who couldn't meet in 2020, so they each beat modules in 009. They set standards with the help of others, stayed at home, ordered the parts and built modules propelled by lockdown fever. Things got better. Trains ran along the assembled boards for the first time in 2021, and the then full long Sibford layout was first exhibited in June 2022. And if you want to see that video, you can go look for the Oxfordshire 009 Society Exhibition 2022. Here we look over the quarry at Long Sibford as we await the arrival of the freight train to allow the other services to continue on their journey. The problems of having a single line. With the freight service out the way, Princess, a small England tank locomotive, with tender, moves along with the quarryman's train.
Like when we went to Killarney on holiday, it just rained the whole time, and the locals went, "Oh, the rain's here." Yeah, right. Oh, we got two on the same track.
Here she's seen passing over a slate curve, with a waterfall thundering down beside her. Now we move over to the Barnstable end of the layout, I say Barnstable because it's very much Linton and Barnstable inspired, with the carriage shed, engine shed and station. It's probably my favourite of the boards, truth be told. And we see a Southern painted Baldwin locomotive depart with Southern Region van and Linston Barnstable coach in tow. Our final view of the layout sees Small England Princess return with the quarryman's working. Now, last year I was called up on not pronouncing this layout right, so I'm telling you the name is Mothecombe, even though there's no R in it. I don't know, that's what I was told. It's an OO gauge layout and it's presented by the junior members of the Model Railway Club. Mothecombe is a quiet through station on a rural line somewhere in South Devon, close to the coast and Plymouth, and is operated in both GWR, Southern Region or BR periods. At either end, 2 feeder yards feed trains through the layout. A bay platform is provided for the local push-pull service, and a small yard serves the local community. Occasional diversions from the main line add interest during the day. Pre-COVID, the construction of this layout served as a training ground for the younger modelers of the club. The auto service arrives into the bay platform as the milk train awaits passage on the single line. It doesn't have to wait long as the non-stop service thunders through on the other line. With the path now clear, the milk service departs the station and heads away. Now we're at Burton Bradstock by Chris Lester, an EM gauge layout. This layout is set in the late 1950s and features the fictionist terminus of the line to Burton Bradstock, which assumes that the Abbotsbury branch having extended as proposed towards, but never reaching, Bridport. This was Chris's first EM solo effort, started some years ago, and uses rolling stock from the BR Western Region era. Locomotives are kits or re-chassied ready-to-run models, and other rolling stock is kit-built or re-wheeled proprietary models. I'm not sure how many more times we'll see Burton Bradstock. I really like this layout, but Chris has put it up for sale. So, if you're interested, maybe you should try and seek him out. I'm afraid I don't have the contact details. Having picked up the guards van and ready to go, the Prairie pulls away and heads out back towards the main line.
Sorry, do you want to have an operate?
A short while later, and a Western Region diesel rail car arrives into the bay platform. Trundles past the local garage and the signal box before resting in the terminus platform. With the rail car arrived, another passenger service pulls towards the station, this time in the hands of an ex-Midlands and South Western Railways locomotive, very far from home. Number 1336 runs round its train and prepares to return back towards the junction.
Percentage of YouTube takings then?
My own layout, I was never aware. I found out did this show last year.
Yeah.
Scrapped it when I got home. Was anyone watching the footage? When I scrapped it, I realised that one of the basements was like badly twisted. But when I watched all the YouTube footage,
The final service we catch a glimpse of is in the hands of a 4400 small prairie as it pulls a freight train into the yard.
Well, the other bit I've got, the bit that goes on the there's no
never understood.
continuing stuff here. So it's reached.
The signalman leans out of the window of his box as the engine trundles past the locomotive shed. The yard is busy with a crane loading up a lorry. The prairie slowly draws to a stand as the passenger service sizzles impatiently, waiting for the road to depart. We're off to India now with Achalraj by Malcolm Harrison. Achalraj represents a small town in the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. The DTR squeezes through the town streets, making its way up past the tea pickers and the plantation, then up into the hills, watching out for the elephants, before making its way back down the hill to the town and its busy shops. Our final call is Roadwater, which is by Steve Walker in EM gauge. Here we see a prairie locomotive shunting a milk wagon out of the way before bringing its coaches back to the platform and starting off on another journey. Roadwater is a terminus on a might have been truncated branch line in the 1920s. Steve has changed history and assumed the line remained open and was linked to Taunton and the Minehead branch at Washford. As we watch over the layout, we see it from the view of the boy, because you can't go to an exhibition without him these days. So I hope you appreciate these final few shots. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please click the like button. If you want to see more like this, then click the subscribe button. If you want to see something different to this, but you'd like what I do, then also click the subscribe button, because I do layout builds too. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. You're still here? Well, why not watch another?